So police brutality be happening everywhere, right? Everywhere, police brutality is happening. I'm just gonna read this article. This happened. This is a bad story, but it's got a good ending. Okay, so just trust me. If you could stand and take a careful look at the faces at the top of the page, and this is from freedominourtime.blogspot.com. And Monday, August 11th, 2008, support your local rape gang. So, pro libertate. So look at these pictures. They're pictures of these white jailers, and there's like, do they inspire respect, confidence, and a quiet sense of gratitude for the public service courageously rendered? Or do they look the kind of human detritus one would find lurking in the vicinity of the local junior high, leering at underage girls or boys? How would your answer change if, instead of being seen in a police mugshot, each of the individuals above were swathed in a government-issued police costume and clothed in the supposed majesty of the law? So these fucking jailers, when you got the police mugshot, look like any common criminal out there, right? That's what they do. In fact, you got fucking Crime Times here in Louisville, which is like that. They make a whole business of just those mugshots, and they have. Okay, so they got the mugshots, right? But these are police officers. They're correctional facilities, right? They're like Rick Ross. they're jailers. I don't know if he ever raped anybody, but they're jailers, right? So they're under the majesty of law. So you see these three guys who are accused of conspiring in the jailhouse rape of an 18-year-old high school student are former deputies in the employ of Grant County, Kentucky Sheriff's Department. Sergeant Clinton Sean Sidner, the fetching item on the left, was the highest ranking officer on duty that night at the Grant County Detention Center located in tiny Williamstown, Kentucky. So Sidner, Clinton Sean Sidner, okay? He snitches on the other two guys, and then the other two guys gets double the fucking sentence that he gets. Now, Clinton Sean Sidner, he was the highest ranking official on duty that night. So they says that who knows actually who conspired and who actually did the thing. So you have Sidner entered a guilty plea, agreed to testify against the other two, Wesley Lanham and Sean Freeman, right? So Lanham going to get in prison. They're going to land him in the ham. But that's Wesley Lanham, right? Lanham's going to get landed in the ham. And it's actually poetic justice, right? Yes, rape is not fucking funny. It's not something to be laughing about. But these motherfuckers raped this boy. And I guess they're going to prison, so that confinement is punishment enough. But that's the culture they were creating. Ha ha ha, little boy, you're going to get fucking raped, right? You're gonna be somebody's little girlfriend, Bubba's gonna make you his girlfriend, just taunting them, fucking laughing at him, just laughing at his pain. They didn't give a shit. They can't empathize with other people. They see a motherfucker get raped, and that was big comedy to them. So, the others who insist they're being used as scapegoats confront the prospect of life sentences. So they might be in prison for life. But eventually they do get sentences. The snitch gets 7.5 years, the highest ranking person in jail. But Steve Kellum, who is the main jailer, who's the elected official, was nowhere to be found. Couldn't be commented, couldn't be reached. So he's just trying to fucking cover his ass up, right? They don't actually give a shit about truth or justice. They only give a shit about sadistic, fucking perverted domination and, assholery. So, according to the indictment, these three decided to have a little fun with the terrified teenager who was arrested and jailed on Valentine's Day 2003 for driving 35 miles per hour over the speed limit and attempted to elude the police. Allegedly. These heroes are in the cause of public order, each of whom apparently considers himself the beau ideal of masculinity. They taunted the kid about his physical appearance. He reportedly weighed 120 pounds, had blonde highlights in his hair, and he wore satin underwear. Why we know about the kind of underwear he has? It's a traffic violation, whatever. So these living down to every cinematic stereotype of the dim-witted, inbred rural prison guard. Stereotypes come from somewhere. The deputies told the young boy he'd make a good girlfriend for the other inmates. Clothing their sadism in the imbecile's notion of pedagogy, the deputies decide to teach a lesson. Oh boy, we're going to teach you a lesson. Right? Boy, we're going to teach you a lesson you never forget, boy. Right? And what? Apparent disrespect? What, he eluded the police? Like, why is this happening? So he's in police custody because of a minor traffic infraction. They invited a group of felons to run a train on the terrified kid. Rather than placing him in the drunk tank, which is standard procedure would require, they threw him in a remote holding cell with 14 feral convicts, locking the door behind him in predatory taunts. Come in here, girlfriend. Bring him to me. Happy Valentine's Day to me. So, fucking Valentine's Day gang rape. Fuck, I'm gonna name this shit. Valentine's Day gang rape in fucking Grant County, Kentucky. So in Valentine's Day, that's how they celebrate it in Grant County jails. They pick on some fucking poor high school 18-year-old student who wears satin underwear. The victim was seized by the other inmates, stripped, taken to a shower, and raped until he passed out. When he regained consciousness, he began to scream for help, only to be grabbed again and forced to perform oral sex on the other prisoners. So they took him, they take off all of his clothes, drag him into the shower, and rape the fuck out of him until he passes out. That's what the jailers set the situation up. They give him right to the animals. They threw fucking some meat to the fucking cheetahs. And so, you know, come here, girlfriend, bring him meat. Happy Valentine's Day. So he rapes until he's passed out, right? So I don't know how much raping that is. Is that hours? How much, you know, how much raping do you have to get to? You're just like, oh, I don't know why this happened, and you just fucking pass out. And then when he's passed out, is more shit happening? And was there physical damage? You know, was I don't know. Can he? I don't know. So, you know, that there could be damage, right? There could be like, I don't know. I don't want to guess. But I would assume that there could be some physical damage. So then they grabbed him again. Once he regained consciousness, he passes out, naked in the shower, wakes up, help, somebody help, you know, and then he got grabbed again, and then he's having to fucking suck all these prisoners' dicks, right? Some people would laugh at that. Some sadistic psychopaths laugh at motherfuckers who's getting beat up and shit, right? Because that's, I don't know, I saw that there's one picture in Chicago, the protester, and you know, he's got all the buttons on, he's got a hat, so it looks like a stereotypical protester. Possibly he might be a little lame, a little douchey, but it's not criminal. It's not criminal to be a douche. You're allowed to be, you know, you're allowed to wear as many buttons as you want on your clothes. That is not a crime. But the cops started fucking with him, and they started pulling him, and the picture that I saw was these fucking white guys with the pop collars, right, of the last video, just sitting there just like, just enjoying it. Ha ha ha, look, I'm not that guy. I resonate with the cops. I don't resonate with the protester, and he's getting his ass kicked. And they was just so fucking happy. They're just, you know, sadistic psychopaths, man. So he has to suck everybody else's dick, right? So this poor fucking 18-year-old getting raped in the shower repeatedly till he passes out. Maybe hours, right? Wakes up, has to fucking suck everybody's dicks. Because of Steve Kellum. Steve Kellum forces this motherfucker to do that. Sadistic psychopathy is not... the oppressor does not actually love the oppressed. The oppressor's love, I'm going to teach you a lesson, boy, is a love of death. You dehumanize the person. That is not a love of life. You don't care about their life. So, it's impossible to believe that specimens like those pictured above, certified members of the Epsilon semi-moron caste, Huxley's taxonomy, could have locked up the kid with a pack of recidivist felons without knowing exactly what would have happened. They knew he'd be sexually violated, physically traumatized, emotionally shattered. That's the result they were seeking, because the lesson they wanted to teach this helpless kid was this: you're the state's bitch. You understand, boy? You're the state's bitch. You can't do nothing to anybody. You will fucking take it. Granted, to the extent that the cerebral activity called thought took place within the craniums of these tax-subsidized perverts, they almost certainly didn't think of their actions in such expansive terms. Instead, they most likely act on the atavistic tribal impulse to get this uppity kid to show some respect for the uniform. And that you'll respect the uniform, boy, right? That one guy got beat up for just saying, shut up. You know, you can't look at him, you can't give him eye contact. Really, the best way to save yourself from the system is just, you see a police officer, you know, don't talk to them, don't approach them. If they look like they're walking towards you, you know, make your way somewhere else. So show respect for the uniform, but this is merely a particularized application of the general tendency on the part of those who exercise state-authorized coercion. It wasn't just the three cretins pictured above who conspired in this hideous crime. Other deputies were on duty, and at least some of them played a hands-on role. All of them must have known what was going on, and since nobody tried to stop it, everyone on that shift is complicit and should be considered an accomplice. This brings up to the point that has been driven home with the pitiless force of a jackhammer. And you know, in Louisville jail, I had gotten molested, right? And it seemed like the fucking jailers, nobody give a shit. Motherfucker takes me in the fucking back, right? And by myself with 2 other fucking jailers, and that was okay. You probably have about 20 jailers just sitting around not doing shit except for being shitty to the 3 or 4 people that was sitting in the holding cell. And that's it. That's what the state is paying for. 20 fucking assholes to go around carrying a fucking gun and being shitty to people that go into jail. They're not, you know, the confinement is the punishment. You don't force rape on other people. So this brings us to a point that's driven home the pitiless force of a jackhammer is the guilty, collusive silence of good police officers, quote unquote, that makes possible the ever-accumulating atrocities of the bad ones. Had one conscientious deputy exclaimed, "You're not allowed to do that, don't do that," as the others prepared to feed the teenager to a rape gang, it most likely would not have happened. You can't do that. That would have stopped it. At least one deputy, a female guard, suffered a fit of consciousness so severe that it caused her to have a seizure. She asked Freeman to drive her home, a fact from which he is trying to wring an alibi. That effort isn't likely to succeed since the female guards point out that the seizure was a reaction to her knowledge of what was happening to the boy, a fact of which Freeman was likewise aware. And she was also reacting to a threat I'll describe anonymously. While the victim was being raped, those who facilitated that crime did what police in such circumstances do. Cops break the law, they hurt other people, they beat other people up, and then they just keep covering it. They get their criminal friends to cover it, and that's what they did here. So it was a big-ass cover-up. They devised a cover story. They lied, namely they plugged drain floor. They said they couldn't put him in the drunk tank because the drain on the floor was plugged, and who knows why that even matters. I guess you can't piss or something, I don't know. So because there's a plugged floor drain in the drunk tank, they had to confine the guy with a pack of felons. And they also falsified shift logs by reporting frequent visits to check on the welfare of the victim. So they didn't give a shit. They weren't checking on him. For hours he's getting fucking raped and having to suck all these, you know, criminals' dicks, right? And, you know, people will laugh at that. I know there's some people that just have a, ho, you know, something bad happened to somebody, ho. But that's the point. It's fucking humiliating, and when you hear the story, you fucking laugh. That's the bullshit. That's the fucking bullshit. These other motherfuckers were laughing too, right? So, Sergeant Sidner, the ringleader, okay? Clinton Sean Sidner was the ringleader. He's the one that started it. He's the highest ranking official, but he's the one that snitched on the other 2 and used them as scapegoats. He gets 7.5 years in prison because that's what he'd worked out with the state, and then the jury throws the other guys into prison for 15 years. So the ringleader of this criminal conspiracy actually intimidated one would-be whistleblower, the above-mentioned female guard, by threatening her with harm unless she lied to support the cover story. Although the perpetrators disagree about allocating the blame, the facts are undisputed. The boy and his family sued the county and won $1.4 million. $1.4 million, and goddamn it, he fucking deserved every fucking penny. $1.4 million for getting this right. So, bad story, bad thing that happened, but the criminals are being put in jail, and this motherfucker's getting paid. A lot of times, Howard Zinn speaks about the Fugitive Slave Act, and a lot of people, you know, the juries would acquit anything they didn't agree with. A lot of times the judge would say, you got to do as I say. You ain't got to do what the judge says. The jury, this is a democracy. What the jury says is, you know, the main thing. I think the jury convicts you and then recommends the sentence. So the sentencing is the judge's power, but the conviction is the jury. And it's important to know who are the bad cops and who are the good cops, because the cops have to go in and testify. And if they're bad people, then, you know, their testimony won't hold up. That motherfucker in Ohio that murdered them kittens, how the fuck is that guy going to testify against anybody? Wait, aren't you the guy that killed all them kittens? Fuck you. I don't care about a single word you say. You just cold-blooded, send them to kitty heaven, like Jeffrey Dahmer, right? You're just a sadistic psychopath who takes pleasure in fucking beating other people up. So the boy and his family sued the county, won $1.4 million. 3 of the inmates involved in the attack are prosecuted and convicted of the crime. All the 4 prisoners got extended, who raped them, got extended charges of first-degree sodomy and assault. But this matter is being tried in federal court as a civil rights matter rather than locally as it should, because a state grand jury refused to indict any of the guards who were on duty the night of the gang rape. So let me repeat that. You only got 20 seconds, but it's being tried in federal court as a civil rights matter because Kentucky, the grand jury in Kentucky, would not convict these fucking rapists, these goddamn psychopathic animals who don't give a fuck about anybody. That's Kentucky.